Cincinnati Basketball Hustle TV Top 25 Selection Show. We're here at Martino's on Vine Street. That is 2618 Vine Street on the Strip right here in Clifton. Come on down. We had some great food. Everything was excellent. The service was great. It's a Pittsburgh bar. A lot of good Pittsburgh sports memorabilia here. Come down, check it out. Coach, are you familiar with
Basketball Hustle TV?
TREY McBride out of Moeller?
Absolutely.
Thoughts on TREY?
TREY was one of them, and we played Moeller this year. TREY was one of those players that you can back off of and make him shoot outside. He's an extremely athletic person, maybe the most athletic person in the city. He's about 6'1", but I mean, crazy hops, jumps out the gym. But one thing I've noticed this summer with him is he's been working on his jump shot. And if he gets a consistent jump shot, then he'll probably be Player of the Year in the GCL this year.
Wow. Coach Parker, you get a chance to see TREY at all?
Yeah, that's always been, Coach hit it. That's always been kind of, his kryptonite was the jump shot. And, I know that he's working on that really well. And, that's one of those things that it's repetition. It's repetition, and he understands that this is a big season for him, and what is at stake. And I know he's putting in that work over the summer, and he'll be ready to roll as Moeller looks to make their annual run, and we'll see if he can lead them to that. Okay,
Coach Parker. There's a kid that I know that you're really high on down at Bacon. The kid
Basketball Hustle TV.
Justin Johnson. What are your thoughts on Justin?
Justin, I love the kids. The kid's body. I mean, you look at his body type, and 6'3"-ish. Real long arms. Really athletic. Had a very, very good summer this year on the AAU circuit, and the best part about him is he plays hard. He doesn't take plays off either. I mean, the kid plays hard on the offensive end, on the defensive end, and he's working this summer. I know he's really spent a lot of time with Coach Mosley, and doing a lot of the personal training in the gym every single day. He's only going to get better heading into his junior season. He does need to improve his range a little bit on his jumper, but he's getting there, and the kid is special, and sky's the limit. I expect him to be a very, very good college player as well when that time comes.
Tell you what, there's another kid who can stake their claim.
Basketball Hustle TV.
Cameron Moore. You talk about CARLIK. He's not doing it by himself. You got Cam over at Aiken. Now, rumor has it that he's leaving, and we just getting word that he might actually, have already enrolled somewhere else. But you talk about a kid who can flat out get it done when he's tuned in. Is Cam Moore. I like his game a lot. What would you have to say about it?
With Cameron Moore, about 6'6", 6'7", power forward, very, very active, a rebounding machine, very athletic, and then he has that drive and that heart that you can't teach, that toughness. That's probably his biggest asset.
And I recently got a chance to see some film on Cam, and hadn't seen him in a while, and one thing that I picked up is that he's always around the basketball. A ball goes up, he finds a way to get it, and there's always a spot for guys that can rebound the basketball the way that he rebounds the basketball. And when you're finding yourself always around the ball, good things are going to happen for you and your team, and Cam really does that for his squad, and will do that this year, if he does end up at Purcell.
Let's talk about one guy that's doing a lot is
Basketball Hustle TV.
Let's talk about KOBIE Johnson out of Middletown. I know me and you off camera talked about him often. What are your thoughts on him?
Another Kobe, just a really solid player. Can pretty much do what he wants to do on that, on that basketball floor. And being, at Clark, I don't get a chance to see him, as much on the big stage, but I get a chance to, look at the statistics, see some film, on the kid. It looks like he's doing a lot better of getting himself locked in on the defensive end. And so, and as a coach, I know that's important to me. It's also, sure, important to Coach Ricardo as well. So, you just got to continue to make that next jump, and I think he'll do really well out there again this year.
Okay, excellent, Coach.
Yeah, no doubt. With Kobe, I think the key word for him is consistency, and making sure that every single game he brings the intensity, just like it's a championship game. Sometimes it seems as though he'll try to maybe do a little bit too much, or maybe not do enough. So when he finds that middle ground with his consistency, I think the kid's going to be great.
Okay, excellent. Let's talk about one guy that's doing a lot is
Basketball Hustle TV.
JADEN SAYLES. They're out of Kings. Big kid, long, runs the floor pretty well for a kid his size, gets after it. I know you've seen a lot of him in your organization. Tell us a little bit about him.
I think with Jaden is probably one of the better centers, or even a power forward in our area right now. What he's worked on is building his body up. If you look at him now, he looks like a collegiate player. What he has to work on is his mental aspect of the game, always staying engaged in the game, rebounding out of his area, just the little things that it's tough to teach, but you can teach it. But Jaden, he transferred to Sycamore, and he's another player that should have a great year.
Oh, okay, so he did get to Sycamore. Okay, I know he was at Kings and rumor mill, but that's great. Him going to Sycamore, get to showcase his skills in the GMC. That's going to be interesting to see. Coach, what are your thoughts on Jay?
Coach hit it on the head on the nail on the head. Is that Jaden has got the body and all the tools in the world to be an absolute dominant player. That mental aspect of the game where when he starts to understand that I can control the entire game instead of pockets of the game, he's going to be very dominant. And I know that Coach Moss out at Sycamore is excited to have him there, and he's going to really see a different animal out there in the GMC in Sycamore, where he's going to have to put that team on his back, and I think he's ready for it, and it'll be interesting to see what he does this season.
I know when we spoke off camera, Coach Hill, you talked a little bit about
Basketball Hustle TV.
Tyler Mitchell, the guard out of Kings. What are your thoughts on him?
Love Tyler. Tyler is one of those guys that plays with an edge. He's about 5'11", point guard. Excellent handles. Able to create his own shot, which kind of separates himself from a lot of other point guards. Tyler can beat you off the dribble, or he can shoot it outside the three-point arc. But real tough competitor. His competitiveness is definitely his number one asset.
There was a game last year that took place in the CHL. A lot of people don't really know about it, but it was a nice battle. Coach Parker, I want you to talk about
Basketball Hustle TV.
BRYCE BUTLER.
With BRYCE, I think he is one of the most under the radar guards in the entire city. And that's hard to say for a kid that averaged almost 20 points 20 points a game. But I think with the popularity of his brother, who's now off to college at Ohio Northern, I think BRYCE kind of flew under the radar, and the kid's game has really evolved, and he's got good, decent size on him at almost 6 feet, and he can handle the ball really well, gets to the bucket, shoots a lot of free throws. He's really improved on his jump shot, and I expect Bryce to have an absolutely breakout season again as a senior.
Over there to Wyoming and takes on
Basketball Hustle TV.
Lonnie GRAYSON. Battle of the point guards right there. Coach, tell us a little bit about Lonnie and what your thoughts are on him.
Lonnie's 6'1" shooting guard. Real tough kid. He's a natural scorer. So Lonnie will find a way. He can go left, he can go right. He shoots it well. He plays tough defensively. He's one of those kids that you will want on your team because he's going to do the things that make you win. He'll take a charge. He'll dive for a loose ball. Mm-hmm. He's a good kid. He is a high character kid. So and a lot of people don't realize how important that is when adversity hits and the time gets tough. You need kids that can handle those situations and not lose their composure, and that's Lonnie. Hats off to Lonnie. He averaged about 18 last year.
It was around 18,
somewhere around there for
yes,
Wyoming. So I expect big things for him.
Kid who puts up a great argument to be in that #1 spot.
Basketball Hustle TV. #2.
CARLIK Jones out of Aiken. You talk about a guy who is a prototypical point guard that you look for, can shoot it when he needs to, can score when he needs to, knows how to run a team, run an offense. And one of the things that I love about this guy is he's a natural leader. Kids like to follow him. They want to know what he's up to, what he's doing. When he's tuned in, in my opinion, there ain't no better point guard in this city than CARLIK. That's my opinion. Feel free. If you want to debate that with me, go ahead. But that's my guy right there.
In a city like Cincinnati, where we got a lot of great guards, CARLIK he's absolutely up there with them. I mean, his game is, is fantastic. Happy about his recent signing, as well. And as a prototypical point guard, one job is to get everybody involved, which he can do.
Absolutely.
When it's time to take the game over and put his Falcon teammates on his back, he can do that. So absolutely deserved in CARLIK.
And I agree. Love CARLIK. What I like most about him is how his game has evolved over the years. You were able to, a few years ago, just stop him from driving and he couldn't really hurt you. Then he worked on his outside shot and it was more of a set shot. Now he's getting lift on his shot. He just committed to Radford University. Probably the best point guard in the city. Another guy, Nate Jorson, he's pretty good point guard that's up there with him also.
When you talk about the top player in the city, I think we have to go a little bit into the suburbs, a little bit, so to speak, when we talk about that. And first person that comes to my mind is
Basketball Hustle TV.
Cumberland, out of Wilmington. I think he's just hands down the #1 player in the city. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Feel free to chime in on that, but I think he's hands down the best player we have in the city.
Yeah, I agree. With JARRON, he's strong. He's 6'4", guard that shoots it. That's real streaky, but he has that mentality that he wills his team to win. He just committed to UC. I'm in all agreement with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Coach. I've had an interesting history with Cumberland. When I coached younger kids, and he was in 5th and 6th grade, got an opportunity to coach and play, have my guys play against him, and at an early age, you could tell that he was going to be real special, and you could tell that he's worked on his game, since he was a youngster, and all of the accolades and the scoring and defending that he has accomplished as well, well deserved, and top player in the city. Absolutely, the kid is unbelievable.